Hello and welcome to the Creative Focus, our second episode. Today, me and Brittany are going to be talking about picking the right wedding photographer. Choosing the perfect wedding photographer. We're going to step on some of the key aspects on choosing the right photographer on your wedding day. We're going to talk about style, their vibe, their personality, and also the most important questions to ask your wedding photographer.
First topic that we're going to talk about is the style matching the theme. So what do we mean by the style matching the theme? So that means, like, if you're going to have a Halloween wedding, you may want a dark and moody photographer. And if you are having more of like a pastel colored wedding, you may want the light and airy photographer, or somewhere like in between. So it's really important that, when you're choosing your photographer, you review their style, you look at all their photos, look at their Instagram, their Facebook, check out actual albums from that photographer to make sure that their style in every part of that day matches what you're looking for.
All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is doing the engagement session with your photographer. Now, a lot of people may choose not to book the engagement session. We say that is definitely a must. This is how you get to learn how your photographer communicates, how they work, how they pose you, and gives you a great insight on how your wedding day is going to go.
All right, so we're going to tag team the very last topic. Talking about styled shoots and how booking a cheaper photographer isn't always in your best interest. So we're going to start with styled shoots. I love styled shoots. I think they're great. They're fun for creatives. We love them.
Yeah, they are so much fun and they really give us that ability to be very creative. But the difference between a style shoot and a wedding are very different.
Yeah, I mean, I do styled shoots. I go to wedding camp every year. But, in turn, I still haven't edited those photos. That was in August. Here we are in February. I am finally caught up with everything I needed to get edited, but now I'm just starting to edit those because I try to make sure that my paying clients, their work is done first and the fun creative stuff is done last. Now, why is that important? Well, when you're looking at a photographer for your wedding, you want to make sure that they're putting your work first, and that if they are doing the style shoots, they're not trying to play them off as a real wedding, because they're not.
Right, because I mean, a style shoot is completely planned out. Normally, there are models, so a lot of those poses might not work for you and your fiance. So you really got to get a great aspect on, are these style shoots or are these real weddings? What is the real wedding experience in the field?
Yeah, I mean, because when I go to styled shoots like wedding camp, we are, everything is set up right before it happens, so there's no rain, there's no mud. There might be a little bit of elements, but it's nothing compared to like a real wedding day when it downpours or it snows. We live in central PA.
Yeah, you never really know what's going to happen with the weather, and it's really important to make sure that you got a backup plan, because our equipment is expensive and a lot of times we can't be out there in the pouring down rain. Yeah, we can get umbrellas and do fast little sessions outside in the rain for a couple of minutes, but it's something that we're going to have to not do.
Yeah, I mean, we can work in the elements. That's not an issue, but you really want to make sure that that photographer knows what to do when it rains, or what to do when it snows, or how to handle your equipment. I mean, because you're going to want to have one camera getting used to the temperatures outside while you're finishing up inside, and making sure, hey, if it snows, does she have another pair of shoes? Because you don't want her ruining her wedding shoes either. Have to plan for these. Always bring an extra pair of shoes. I always tell my brides, if you can, even if you have to wear platform sneakers, wear some sneakers to the reception too, because your feet throughout the day are gonna ache. You're gonna be doing a lot of standing, a lot of posing, talking to people, which typically you're standing while you're talking to people, going around to tables. So, just your photographer being able to give those additional tips from real life interactions and real life weddings is very, very valuable. And they'll be able to give you a lot more feedback than somebody that has only done styled shoots. We're going to be able to give timeline advice, stuff like that.
Right. And we've seen a lot of things. Just me and Brittany, just together and separately, have done probably over 100 weddings. So we've seen just about everything. And we have little tips and tricks to help you get through your day without being intrusive, also. We plan all the timelines, coordinating with the atmosphere, sunset, or if it is snowing or going to rain. We coordinate all of that to make sure that you have the best day ever.
Yeah, I mean, it's just very important, like for instance, when you book with Stacy and I, you're going to get a questionnaire. We're going to ask you information about your wedding. Where is it? What's happening and where? Who do you want in these photos? Who is your point of contact the day of? Stuff like that we want to know so that when we show up, we're not bugging you for things. We're going to say hi to you. We're going to, go about doing what we need to do on the wedding day. And whoever our point of contact is, that's typically we're going to filter anything, any problems or anything that we have. So, just knowing that is also very important. There are a lot of things that we have learned to ask and look for to make sure that everything happens perfectly for the day. The next thing, we're going to talk about is cheap isn't always better. So I have a little thing that I want to share with you guys. I call it the McDonald's reference. I like McDonald's, but all in the same, when you're booking a photographer and you're looking at prices and you're like, oh my gosh, there's so many different variables. Let's say we've got our newer photographer, our McDonald's photographer. We've always been there. Everybody starts somewhere. Yeah. And then you've got your middle of the road restaurant with good food that you might take your wife to. But on the date night, are you going to take her to McDonald's or are you going to take her to the middle of the road or higher end restaurant? We all know the answer. You're going to take her to that good restaurant because you want her to like you, especially because you're marrying her. So you got to make sure you really like her. I know, right? That she really likes what you're taking her to. I mean, regardless, McDonald's is great. I would go to McDonald's. But it's just very important that you look at the photographer's pricing, what's included, how many years of experience do they have to be charging such amount. Like myself, I have 5 years of wedding experience, so I start out at like $19.50. Whereas other photographers that have 5 years experience, some of them are charging double what I charge.
$3,000 for 3 hours.
I mean, so it's just depending on that photographer's cost of doing business,
equipment.
Yeah, everything that goes into that. You got to think about equipment costs down to the SD cards, down, we're purchasing software to edit the photos, to store the photos, everything like that goes into that price for cost of doing business. So really look into the photographer. If they're the cheapest, they might not handle business the best way. They might not have the storage that we do. They might not be able to organize the photos. You might get them just emailed to you. How, knowing how they're going to deliver them to you is also important as well, because photos take up a lot of storage, a lot of memory. So knowing what form you're going to get that in is very valuable.
Yeah, because when we get pictures, we get them through galleries, professional galleries, where you can download the high resolution images and make sure you get the quality that you're looking for. We ensure that you get that quality when you download your pictures through the professional galleries, instead of just someone emailing it to you and getting a low resolution image or sending them through Messenger or something like that.
Yeah, and then not only that, you're able to purchase high quality prints, canvases, all kinds of stuff through us. And it'll align with the color profile that we edit in. So bottom line is cheap isn't always better. Sometimes you might find a great deal, but just make sure you research that photographer. Thank you.